All right, let's get right into it. We're going to uncover the hidden psychology behind why some relationships leave you feeling totally drained, and why that feeling is a massive signal you really shouldn't ignore. So, have you ever walked away from a conversation and just felt completely wiped out? You might feel tense, anxious, or even kind of small just being around a certain person. But you just can't quite put your finger on why. It's a super common feeling, and it turns out it's not just in your head.
See, that physical feeling of exhaustion? It actually has a clear psychological reason behind it. It's basically your body's internal alarm system going off. Your nervous system is having a physical reaction to a dynamic that it senses as unsafe or just plain unhealthy.
And that brings us to our first major point here. Long before your conscious mind is ready to admit there's a problem, your body is already sending you signals.
This isn't just some vague feeling. It's a real, defined nervous system reaction. That tension you feel in your shoulders or that knot in your stomach, that's your body's defense mechanism kicking in. It's screaming at you that something is fundamentally off in the interaction, even if your conscious mind is trying to make excuses for it.
Let this really sink in for a second. If you consistently walk away from someone feeling drained or just worse about yourself, that feeling is real information. It means your subconscious is picking up on harmful cues that you might be trying to brush off. It's a huge warning sign that absolutely deserves your attention.
Okay, so let's move on to our second point and see how this all connects. A lot of the time, this exhaustion comes from one simple thing. You're carrying the entire emotional weight of the relationship.
Does any of this sound a little too familiar? You're the one who's always making the first move, always calling. You're the one trying to fix things after every disagreement. And you're pouring all your energy into understanding their perspective while you feel completely and totally unseen and misunderstood.
And this right here really gets to the core of the problem. Just look at the contrast. You're giving emotional support, you're giving respect, you're giving accountability, and what are you getting back? Misunderstanding, silence, excuses. That's not a partnership. That's an emotional black hole.
And, well, the end result is pretty much always the same. When you're the only one putting in the work, it's not just sustainable. It doesn't just make you tired. It leads to this deep-seated resentment and, eventually, complete emotional burnout. This brings us to the third big reason for relationship exhaustion: the constant, grinding stress of having your boundaries just completely ignored. Let's be crystal clear about this. When you tell someone, "Hey, I'm not okay with this," and they turn around and do it again, that's not an accident. That is a pattern of disrespect. This isn't a simple misunderstanding. It is a deliberate choice to ignore your needs. And this creates a predictable and just incredibly draining cycle. You set a boundary, they cross it, and your brain is immediately forced into a state of high alert, basically defense mode. And let me tell you, living in that state is not just stressful, it's profoundly exhausting. This isn't just you being frustrated, it's a neurological reality. Your brain is literally burning through its energy reserves just trying to protect you, and that leads to that feeling of being completely and utterly wiped out. Look, when someone consistently takes but rarely gives, sometimes creating distance is the only way to get your balance back.
So, what do you do with all this? This is where we stop diagnosing the problem and start talking about making an empowering choice.
This is so important. So many of us stay in these draining connections because of a shared history or family ties or just this crushing sense of guilt. But you absolutely have permission to prioritize your own mental and emotional well-being.
I want you to really hear this quote. Peace is more important than history. It means that your mental health today and tomorrow is so much more valuable than any obligation you feel to yesterday. And that really just leaves us with one final, powerful question to think about. After everything we've talked about, what is your peace truly worth? If any of this helped validate what your gut has been trying to tell you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep exploring the psychology that helps you understand people and, more importantly, helps you protect your own mental health.